even though the Cardinals showed some fight towards the end of the game, it's not even close to good enough. It wasn't even close to good enough. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Listen, man, we've got a lot to talk about today. Everydayers, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, free and available wherever you get your podcast. I've been going through it the last 12 hours or so. Like, there's so much. Not to like break down. There's so much to decompress with. There's so many things, so many emotions, so many that was the most Arizona Cardinals loss ever. It's just wild. We'll talk about the defense, how they carried the weight. We'll talk about that in the final segment. The offensive woes, even though they showed some pop in the fourth quarter. But by and large, the main thing here is that it just wasn't good enough. For 3 quarters, the Arizona Cardinals offense looked like the worst offense in the NFL. I don't care how good the Seattle Seahawks defense is. I don't care. They're not the 2001 Ravens. They're not the Eagles defense from 2 years ago. Like, this, I said that the boos would come almost immediately, and they did. It's like, how much longer can this go on? How much longer can the offense not be trusted? It's not even so much as like, oh, you know what, they're up and down. Every offense has their valleys, has their couple quarters where they're not clicking and things like that. It's the rule, not the exception to the rule where that is. The exception to the rule is when the Cardinals are humming on offense and they've got way too much talent, like a broken record, way too much talent to put out an inferior product, let alone a crap box product that we saw for 3 quarters last night. Like, that was embarrassing that that's the offense they rolled out, irrespective of who they were playing against. Kyler Murray, 12 completions for 70 some odd yards in the first half. It was dink and dunk. I know the too high safety thing is the new craze. And everybody, they're taking away the deep ball. So you got to take what the offense gives to you. Why does every other offense not do that? Why do other offenses, Seattle's included, scheme guys open? Why is it just the Cardinals that are doing this? I think this was on the squad show, or maybe I was talking to a friend or something. Or like the Cardinals are playing like they're in a bowling lane. And that's the only, it's such tight-knit stuff and nobody can get open because there's no room. Well, they play on a damn football field like everybody else. So I don't understand why they're struggling. So let's discuss this. I'm going to take Jonathan Gannon first. So I tweeted this out. If you don't call the defense, even though it's his defense. I mean, he was the DC in Philly. Nick Rallis took over the defense. It's the same language. It's his defense. You don't call the defense. The offense is struggling. You haven't done anything about that. What are we doing? Nothing's changed. So while this isn't like Gannon's gone, got to get him out of here, it's not working. I'm not there. Some people are, but I think that's irrational at this point. Drew Petzing, until the fourth quarter, didn't show anything. And then, for those that have watched this show, for those that have watched my big dumb face spew stuff for the last 9 seasons, what I talked about above all else as an example for a play that the Cardinals should be running and things like that when they're actually in playoff contention and not just afterwards, was the slip screen to Greg Dortch. And they called it last night. And they got a huge chunk gain when they needed it. It wasn't in week 17 last year against the Rams when the Cardinals were just eliminated from the playoffs the week before. It was in a gotta-have-it moment, and it was a great play call, and they executed it flawlessly. There are plays in this playbook like that get forgotten, and I don't understand it. I don't know if you can speak rationally and give me a reason why Greg Dortch shouldn't be wide receiver 2. I said it during the preseason. I said it during the offseason. I don't understand it. Greg Dortch does things that everybody else on this team can't do. He's the change of pace dude the Cardinals need. He is tough as nails. He catches almost everything, and he's faster than everybody else. Get him the damn ball. So that slip screen, fantastic. I jumped out of my seat because that was the exact play that I had been calling for, like, more during the regular season, not when they're out of playoff contention. So that was good. Outside of the fourth quarter, this was the worst the offense has ever looked. Like, truly, this was the worst the offense has ever looked. There were a couple chunk plays. You know, you had the first play of the game to Marv, which was like, okay, cool. I'm glad that happened in week 4, and then they forgot about him again. And then, you know, the Kyler Murray, Marv not being on the same page thing. I'll talk about that in the next segment. I'm kind of doing the big picture stuff here. That was the worst the offense has ever looked. And until the fourth quarter, Drew Petzing was dead man walking. Like, truly. I don't know. Like, the only problem with that is I don't know if anybody else can call an offense that's staffed by the Cardinals right now. So that's why, and we'll get into this a lot more towards the end of the season, regardless of how it ends up. But, like, I had this thought last night. Like, this is a little aside for later, but it's like, they're going to run it back again, and they're going to take this entire offseason and focus on the offense, aren't they? And the draft. I'm like, we talk about things 6 months before everybody else talks about it. That's what we do here. That's going to be the plan. I don't think anybody's getting fired. They're going to overload on the offense this offseason, and then you'll have your 4-year rebuild, and then you'll be ready to go with Kyler Murray. You heard it here first. But it was terrible last night. It was terrible. And then, you know, the fourth quarter comes in, and they have a couple really good sustained drives. Kyler Murray looks like the quarterback we've always seen him at his peak to be. That wasn't even at his peak. That's just good Kyler Murray. Getting Trey involved, getting Marv involved. Like, before we get into the offensive woes, oh, and then on top of that, Amari DiMercato, that play call, chef's kiss. That was pretty much the same play call in the San Francisco game, and Amari DiMercato dropped the ball. That was fantastic. It was fantastic. It was what you want. Do it more when the game's 0-0 in the first quarter. You dingbats. Why wait? My biggest positive, but probably biggest takeaway altogether from last night. It was a loss. They moved to 2-2. We've got an extra show, so I'm pretty much going to do a hard reset on Monday with all of this. This is like a longer instant reaction show. My biggest takeaway from last night, that's a positive one, is when push comes to absolute shove and the Cardinals need a first down, need a reception, Kyler looks for Marv. You know? I know the fourth down completion was to Michael Wilson. Great catch. He almost had another great catch, but, momentum pushed him out. Like, he looks for Marv. The back shoulder throw, double feet down in bounds. That was the catch that kind of started the hot streak. It's like when he absolutely needs it, he looks for Marv, which is fascinating. It's fascinating. And he was during the press conference last night, paraphrasing, he said something to the form of, I need him. There's no way we're taking him off the field. I saw a stat that he's run the most routes of anybody in the NFL. They're using him. They just haven't figured it out yet. Not great. But when push comes to shove, he looks for Marv. Last year he did it. This year, like, it's just this whimsical thing where it's like, then why isn't it working more? Why does it get to the point where you got to have it? Why can't you just, in the second quarter with 9 minutes left, run a timing route and have Marv run the right route, catch the ball, and get a first down? That touchdown, you hope, even the Cardinals haters in the chat, you hope that that's the moment where everything changed. You hope that that's the moment where the hero era began for Marvin Harrison Jr. Not only just for the Cardinals, for the kid, for the young man, but yeah. Tough one to stomach last night. The Chad Ryland thing, Chad Ryland is the last person to fault here. going for 2, and I will expound upon this on Monday. You don't go for 2 there, in my opinion. Defense has been playing great all night. I understand there's momentum. I understand all the crowd. The crowd is raucous. I understand all of it. If you're on the road, you go for 2. If you're at home, kick the extra point. Trust your defense. The Chad Brown thing was just really unfortunate. Half a yard. I know that the NFL is made up of what ifs that were less than a yard. So I'm not saying that the distance was like this random occurrence that doesn't happen, but yeah, it was tough. I mean, they lost to a 3rd and 6 go route, drop in the absolute bleeping bucket from Sam Darnold to Jackson Smith-Njigba with Max Milton having pretty good coverage. That's how they lost. Other than that, they're getting the ball back they're probably taking a knee and going overtime, but like they moved to 2-2, redeeming qualities, I guess, but the offensive woes reign supreme. I'll discuss some more next. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Square. Your favorite neighborhood spots run on Square. There are certain businesses that truly make the neighborhood feel like home. Whether it's the local sports bar packed on game days, the coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. There are places that bring people together. And when neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. Here's a couple companies in the Phoenix area that use Square. Pop and Anime, Flacco Brews AC, Westgate Cards and Collectibles. I've been there. A Fine Ash Cigar Bar and Lounge, Cup Bob Westgate. Like, that's around Arizona. That's around the stadium. That's just a couple that use Square in the Arizona Cardinals area. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/go/LockedOnNFL to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is also brought to you by DoorDash. So I use DoorDash a lot around the weekends, and it's almost the weekend. Time to look back and crown this week's MVP on Who Delivered, powered by DoorDash. Just like you can win every Saturday with DoorDash streaks, saving money every time you order. These players delivered when it mattered most. Let's break it down. I mean, listen, I think it's just the defensive line as a whole. Josh Sweat got home. They had 3 sacks. They seemed to pressure Sam Darnold more late when they absolutely needed it, which was great. After starting off, not so great. But yeah, I mean, the defense as a whole kept the Arizona Cardinals in that game. And, just like the defense delivered for the Cardinals, DoorDash delivers your Saturdays with DoorDash streaks. You save every Saturday you order. Stack it up all season. You could save up to $250, including $100 in DoorDash credits. Order this Saturday. Keep the streak alive. Fuel your game day. Only with DoorDash. Terms apply. Promo code through 11/18. All right. The offense just looked bad. The offense looked bad. I said this in the squad show last night. If you haven't checked out the squad show, we did it last night. Phil Douglas, Ben Garcia, myself. I did an instant reaction, 15 minutes. If you want to see me just like seeing, I was going from seeing red to then when the game ended the way it did, it's like there's so many emotions just mashed up into one human. You can see it in my eyes. Kyler Murray's career was last night. Valleys, high peaks. That was Kyler Murray's career, the microcosm of. It's crazy. Let's start with the least severe thing that happened last night. Run game, it was Trey Benson's first start. Good defensive front. Offensive line has struggled in run block. I'm good with pivoting to making this offense more Kyler-centric and not just inside reads on 3rd and 5 when you got to have a first down. Like, they just take plays off with the inside handoffs. Never gains any yardage. He goes from 2nd and 9 to 3rd and 8, 1st and 10 to 2nd and 9. Like, you got to get more creative. I don't think the Cardinals would have won last night even if James Conner was there. With that said, Trey Benson, first start, I don't know if he was nervous. He had one nice scoot, but I think that we're having kind of a moment where it's like, oh, okay, this offense needs to become more pass heavy. And listen, Kyler Murray throwing the ball 35 times last week. They're not pass attempts. They are extensions of a run game when it's run 5 yards and turn around and come to the ball and it's a 3-yard gain. That's not a pass. The fourth quarter when they ran hurry up, that's the offense that you're looking for. If you're going to go down swinging, or if you're going to go down swinging. Go down swinging. Take chances. I don't like Kyler Murray throwing interceptions and turning the ball over. Of all of the years in his career where they can get away with it by taking chances, and if that's the case, then that's the case. This defense is really good, and they're going to be able to stomach it, okay? I know that it was a little weird last night because Marv stopped on the first route. That ball would not – that was an interception regardless. Even if Marv was running full speed, ain't no way he's getting to that ball. That was a feel. That was a timing thing. It was a route, but then when Kyler rolled out, it was no longer just running the route. It was, where's my quarterback? Where does he need me to be? Kyler threw it to a spot Marv was going to get to. And the second bobbled one, that's on Marv. But chances. Not being as conservative. Okay. I'm okay with I'm okay with 60-40 conservative. That's what most offenses are. If not more, 80-20 conservative, and then you pick your spots. Now, after seeing what we saw last night, I'd love to just see more up-tempo from snap one. Like, when Drew Petzing came over, Jonathan Gannon came over, seeing long sustained drives was something that we weren't really accustomed to a lot. It was really fast. It was either, moving the ball down the field or a 3-and-out in 39 seconds. The 3-and-out in 39 seconds thing doesn't exist anymore. But I want to see just some more up-tempo. Just let Kyler Murray go, man. His press conference last night. There was a clip where he said, paraphrasing, it's like this bleep is still loading. It's like it was still loading for the first 3 quarters. You've got to get it going faster. That's not, because Kyler Murray's not, he's a respectful guy. He would never, unless, he's yelling at Cliff on the sidelines after 4 years because, it seemed like an indirect dig at the play calling in Drew Petzing. I know Kyler Murray's not perfect. I know that he shoulders the blame here too. But if you want to win anything in this league, you've got to change what the hell we watched last night for 3 quarters. So, Drew Petzing, there's nobody I'm telling you. I called this too. He's going to be the scapegoat. And rightfully so, but he's not the only one to blame, okay? Marv isn't playing well. Kyler is, EPA-wise is fine. But he's not making plays where the Cardinals need it. Like the San Francisco game, where was the offense? That defense was down 3 or 4 of their best players. 2 or 3 of their best players. Let's not forget what happened over the last 5 days. The offense looked terrible for 7 quarters. They went 8 quarters before the fourth quarter of last night. 8 quarters. The fourth quarter against Carolina, the entire game against San Francisco, and the first 3 quarters of this past game without scoring a touchdown offensively that didn't start at the 1-yard line. And that was the San Francisco one with the pass interference call in the end zone. This offense isn't the fourth quarter of last night. That's not what this offense is. We've seen, by and large, for the entirety of the season, 3 good offensive quarters. I could argue 2. But 3, the second and third quarter against Carolina, and then the fourth quarter last night. The offenses looked terrible the rest of the time. I just don't see anybody getting removed from post, namely Drew Petzing. I just don't see it. It's not going to happen. He's going to be the DC for the rest of the year. And if he's not, that means that they're like 3-8, which puts into question everything else. Locked on Cardinals, your team every day. The defense. Oh, what a surprise. Carried the load last night. What did it look like? I'll discuss it next. Carrying the load, just like Mazda. This episode of Locked on Cardinals is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda craft cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IHS Top Safety Picks awards than anybody else as of last month. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details Mazda brings. This same intention to how we craft every model. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to available Napa leather upholstery. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive control. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. Again, I'll do a full reset on Monday because we get an extra show this week. Extra post-game show, I guess, this week. You know the Alonzo Mourning GIF where he looks angry and then he does the eye roll and he goes, "Oh, yeah, that was the Cardinals game last night." That's the reaction to this morning from me. It's like, oh, gross. Well, defense looked good. Defense looked good. The obvious game plan was no Jackson Smith-Njigba. They were getting him involved in the run game because he couldn't get open, because they had him bracketed. And then he's a top 10 receiver right now, probably top 5, at least to start the season. Had a couple really good chunk gains. And but aside from that, without Garrett Williams, without Will Johnson, they look pretty good. The defensive front is real. That worked. Check. Darius Robinson left. He got his first sack of the season. You probably should credit to Dante Stills on that play, who opened up the floodgates. But D-Rob got his first sack. Josh Sweat, another one, was a strip sack that bounced back to the Seahawks. The Cardinals desperately needed a turnover at that point. But Will Johnson comes back, and then Garrett Wentz, this defense is going to be good, good. They gave up some yardage on the ground. I think because the pass protection was so good, they had to run the ball, and and I think that's obvious. That's not that makes sense. Kenneth Walker's pretty good back. He hit the corner. He caught the edge twice and had a couple really good chunk gains, one in the passing game and one in the run game. But by and large, defense looked good. Defense is not the problem. Imagine, and this is the frustrating part. See, I feel like we're in week 13 already. I'm in week 13 form, just stressing myself out. Imagine how good this defense can be when they didn't have to save the day every series. It wouldn't be dropping like flies injury-wise. If the offense was competent for more than 3/4 of the first 16, imagine how this defense could shift and be more opportunistic instead of more conservative. That's 10, 12 wins. Overall, 2-2. Could be a lot worse. Lost on walk-off game-winning field goals twice in 5 days. They've got an extra extended rest. They've got Tennessee at home next week before they go to Indy and then host Green Bay and then they're bye. They got to be 4-3 going to their bye week. They've got to win 2 out of the 3 next games. If you go 4-3, going to your bye week, you salvage what also could have been 4-0 start. If a couple things bounce their way or bounce against them, they could have been 0-4. But for how bad they've looked offensively for the majority of the season, being 2-2, I guess, is an okay consolation prize, even though it's not that great. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. I will talk to you on Monday. Remember, without you, there is no me. Enjoy your weekend.